Let winter break. Let it burn till I see you again. I will be here with you, just like I told you I would. I'd love to always love you, but I'm scared of loneliness when I'm alone with you. I know it's hard, only you and I. Is it all for me? Because I know it's all for you. And I guess it is hell, and you are the only thing I've ever truly known. So I hesitate if I can act the same for you. Then my darling, I'll be rooting for you. Then my darling, I'll be rooting for you. And where did she go? Truth left us long ago, and I need her tonight because I'm scared of loneliness with you, baby. And I should let it go, but all that is left is my perspective, broken and so left behind again. I know it's hard.
You don't want this, so don't call me home. See, I'm bad news and everybody knows it, but no one ever says a single word. Hands racing to catch up with your pulse. We get so close, it's gone before you know it, like a shiver down the center of your spine. Bad, bad, bad habits. Bad, bad, bad habits. Bad, bad, bad habits. Bad, bad, bad habits. I confess I'm a weekend. Confess I'm a weekend. Oh, 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 oh. I may be a mess, but confess I'm a weekend. I'll be waiting for you. The same place I've always been. And when you feel the afterglow, because it's burning through your soul, you'll know it's me I'm saving.
Welcome, everybody, to ASL Team Battle, day number 2. This is the round of 8, brought to you by Dabang. It's an app in Korea. If you're in Korea, you need a house, download this app. If not, well, just be happy you get the English cast anyways, you lucky guys.
I mean, if you're elsewhere in the world and you want to download it too, you can certainly do that. You just, won't really be able to use it very, very well.
Yeah.
But yeah, they are our sponsors, so it's great to have some endemics here making Brood War great again. And of course, players here do that as well. We've got 2 teams, 3 players apiece. This is Team Stork.
Yeah, Team Stork, one of the stronger looking teams. 2 of the 6 dragons, as well as Larva, who is a pretty good Zerg. So, I mean, it's a strong lineup. But this team over here, I definitely like the fact, Bess, obviously one of the dragons as well, did very well in the last ASL season. And, of course, Light, one of the most underestimated Terrans of all time. Where is a little bit, off the radar, I would say, in comparison to everyone else here. But we'll see how he does tonight.
Yeah, that's very true. Really impressed by Light last season of ASL, Season 2, where, formerly known as Miso, used to kind of ride the CJ bench for a while, and last season did not really show up. He was one of the more amateur players coming through into ASL, and it really showed. So I think, to me, he and Larva are really the players they're going to need to step up on their teams.
Yeah, well, hopefully they show us some good games, as most pro gamers hope to do for their fans.
That's very true.
But guys, help us spread the word about ASL Team Battle. We just started this last night. A lot of people don't realize it's going on yet. Of course, last night we actually went to Game 5. The Zerg team of Effort Zero and Hero going down to Flash's team, which is, of course, Flash and Last and
Flash of those other guys.
Yeah, and that other guy. That's pretty good.
It was actually really, really cool to see Rain back in action. It looked super, super solid yesterday, and Team Flash is going to be one that we're going to be watching a lot, very intensely, as the tournament does progress. But for tonight's games, they're actually kind of interesting, because not only do we have more 2v2 being played, which is still a little bit new for a lot of our viewers, but we also have our 2 Zerg players, which we touted as being maybe a little bit weaker than the rest of their teammates. Well, Zerg in 2v2 is very, very important, so you're going to have to put a lot on the shoulders of 2 players that we're still waiting to see really show up.
Yeah, it's the same map lineup as we had last night, and our first match is going to be a ZVT on Fighting Spirit, so that'll be Larva going up against Light. I mean, I definitely would favor Light here pretty heavily. He's just, Light is, he's not like a legend, I guess, but if you really paid a lot of attention to StarCraft 1 back in its prime, he was one of the best Terrans for years and years and years. Not a championship guy, but like one of these highly respected, practices with everyone guys, and comes up, shows up to play sometimes, and can knock down some big names. Yeah,
you're absolutely right, Artosis. When it comes to Larva too, he's the guy that you might know from having seen him on the ASL seasons 1 and 2. Kind of dresses up like a larva in his big orange hoodie, but he just has not shown up. He did show a couple of unique kind of ways to open his Zerg, at least in ASL season 1. I remember that a lot. But here you can see the rest of Team Stork there. Of course, Larva will be starting things out for them. For Stork, at least from what I was expecting to see here, I would have expected him to maybe come out first, but maybe saving him for a little bit later on.
Yeah, he plays the second match, I believe, the PVZ.
Yeah, he'll be playing up next against Ware.
Which he should be favored to take down there. but I feel like looking at this, the better lineup went to Best's team, to be honest. Like, Best actually gets to hit free, which, like, I mean, these guys, all three of these Protosses here tonight are three of the best 6 Protosses of all time, called the 6 Dragons. But, like, their matchups don't line up. Free is a PvZ expert, so that's really where you want him, whereas Best and Stork are PvP gods. So if he was hitting Stork, I think that is a better chance for Stork's team to take down a match there.
Yeah, you can see the matchups here for our first 4 maps. Now, of course, it is best of 5, so it could just end after the 2v2. But if it doesn't, then we will go into free versus Best. And like you were saying, Artosis, Best is a PvP god. He had almost an 80% PvP win rate when the 6 Dragons kind of ruled the world. Stork was actually one of the Dragons that kind of hit before the rest, so it wasn't necessarily a super contemporary for the entire period of their dominance, but still an incredibly strong Brood War player. And really, for ASL Season 2, I was kind of questioning how he was going to look. He came out and he really showed up, so really excited to see him match up against Ware.
Yeah, Ware did not look good in ASL. He was like kind of one of the runts at the back, one of the rabbits, I guess we could call it, so didn't do so well. Looks like this is the team analysis, guys. It has things like teamwork on that right-hand side, condition on the top.
The really big analysis
their results
you just need
in
to see
ASL bottom right
is like the great and the good. So it's like, okay, well, one team got an 84 and they're great. The other team is 79, and that's just good. I feel like if I got a 79 on a test, Artosis, good is the last thing my parents would have been telling me. But, I mean, great looks pretty great to me.
The American grading system is pretty broken, Rapid.
Well, that is very true.
My kid can't be in the average percentile. It's like, what does this even mean anymore?
Well, I was homeschooled, Artosis, so we didn't really care about the American grading system too much. And yet here I am somehow. I wonder if they got like 100%, if that would be Best.
It's funny, though, that they get a lower score because I look at this matchup overall, and I definitely think Best team is favored to take it down. The one way that they really can turn that around is Larva taking down Light.
Right, and it's going to be on Fighting Spirit, a map that, if you guys watched yesterday, saw some Zergs really struggle against Terrans. I mean, of course, that Terran was flashed, so maybe you got to take that into account. But this time around, Larva against Light does certainly seem to favor Team Best.
Yeah, well, I mean, Larva, the thing is, a lot of people like him. He kind of like is a guy that stayed around. He didn't go into StarCraft 2 at all. So
he's a very popular streamer, too.
During kind of like the dead years of StarCraft 1, where it actually got like very small and just had like smaller leagues, you know, far less players, far less big names, Larva kind of emerged as one of the best Zergs. But now that everyone's back, like, the guys that emerged during that time aren't really keeping up. Last is like fighting tooth and nail to try to keep up, but really the old names are the ones that are dominating. And I mean, there shouldn't be too much surprise there. These guys have so much experience. And I mean, Light, this guy has more experience than, like, I can't even really explain what a strong, solid Terran he's always been.
Yeah, really kind of a workhorse Terran. I think for a long time he was before he really kind of exploded onto the scene, and I think it was 2008, I think it was. He was one of those like practice partners for his team and was really good at that, and then really just showed up as this really solid guy. But I mean, if that's the best thing you can say about him, well, maybe he still has a little bit to prove here as he takes on Larva.
You know, his TVZ has always been very strong, so we'll see if he can take Larva out here. I do feel like the weight of the world is on Larva's shoulders, because if he loses here, right, it's like, okay, I do expect Stork to take the next match, 2 versus 2. Who the hell knows what happens? We'll see what Light says is random. But then we hit that 4th match where Best is favored for sure, so that's tough.
All right, so let's go ahead and get into our first game of the night, guys. It's Light versus Larva to start things off. Actually, insane cheers from both of our for both of our players from our crowd. And here to start things off, down in the bottom left-hand corner of Fighting Spirit, our Zerg player Larva.
I love his look with the big Harry Potter glasses. In the bottom right, of course, it is Light. Terran that if you were a Terran player back in the day, you absolutely watched every single one of his games. He was just such a solid competitor.
Light really wishes he had worse eyesight right now because everybody else gets to wear those cool Harry Potter glasses.
He wore glasses for his entire career. Like, he either got eye surgery or started wearing contacts. So he was a glasses user back during Brood War. So.
At least for the most part, I see a lot of that same Harry Potter glasses style. We'll talk about openings in a second. I actually saw quite a few programmers who would just wear the lens, just wear the frames.
That's pretty popular
with no
here.
Lenses in it.
Yeah, it's actually pretty popular.
Up with that?
Whenever you see really big glasses, like on the subway, just look closely and you'll notice that there's so many people that wear lensless glasses. It was bigger like a couple years ago, but it's still a thing.
Man, I'm just not hip with the kids these days.
No, I don't get it.
All right, DSL also standing for dandy, sexy, and lovely. Okay, I mean, I feel like all of those really describe Artosis pretty well, so I think we're in a good spot.
I think they're closer to describing tasteless, dandy, sexy, lovely, but
okay.
I appreciate what you're saying there.
It was worth a shot. This is where Dan tells me let's just be friends.
Yeah. I feel like they use a thesaurus to make that sign, and it's just like good words, but it doesn't. Dandy, sexy, lovely doesn't really mean all that much. It's like, where'd you get that word, dandy?
Well,
no one uses that word.
Yeah, DSL is that internet connection I really wish I didn't have for several periods of time.
Oh, you had DSL?
I did. It started out being super great, and then once higher speed internet came out, it was just like, hey, get this DSL stuff, and it was actually just so terrible.
Yeah.
But speaking of so terrible, let's talk about scouting directions. Overlord not going the right way, but at least for the workers, they will pass each other.
Yeah, and
like ships in the night.
Does get that scouted.
Oh,
yeah,
it's a burger.
Stork actually brought in a bunch of Burger King burgers today, and I think a flat of Coca-Cola.
He brought in like 100 Burger King burgers, and then also, an insane amount of like Cokes and soft drinks for everybody in the audience. So you guys want to go hand him a few stars after this when he streams?
Yeah.
That's one way to give back, but really cool to see that.
Well, that's very nice of him to do, I guess. People actually cheered quite loudly. We were watching when I came in. Surprised you didn't go down and get one.
Oh, well, I actually went down, but by the time I got down there, they were all gone.
All 100? Wow.
All burgers were gone. I watched them give away the last one, and I was so sad inside.
I'm sorry, man.
No burgers for casters. Yeah. One day we'll be getting burgers.
Well, you know what's even worse is when you do get a burger, because I just sit here and look at it, and I'm like, well, I don't eat meat, and this is my life. Anyways, 3 hatchery play here coming out of Larva, and no big surprise, going for that macro opening. But look at this by Light. He's actually hunting this Overlord. This is a fantastic move.
And he pulls back.
Just misses it.
Oh, actually, he might try to go around a little bit further. Now, I mean, if you get your Marines caught off on the map or surrounded by Zerglings early, that can really put you in a rough spot.
I got to talk about these Marines moving out, because actually, if you go, you can see that the Overlord changed direction. Look at the mini-map, guys, right? The Overlord went north. It didn't see the SCV coming down the ramp at the appropriate time to make a command center or scout at that north position, so he knew it wasn't there. He turned it. Now, if he had kept the trajectory that he had chosen, or the trajectory going just towards that top right area, either of those would have had Light catching the Overlord, but he actually changed it midway. And by changing it there, Light is so exact with his Marines moving out that he missed the Overlord. He hit the 2 places that were more likely for it to be, because you'll send it with like 1 click. But Larva changing that, this is such a deep and beautiful thing that we've seen already in this game. These are the moments that make StarCraft 1 so awesome.
Wow, yeah, when you can just perfectly plan out exactly what you expect your opponent to do, and then, of course, seeing that being countered as well. So sick. All right, so the big build on this map, which has been shifting it a little bit further in favor of Terrans versus Zergs, has been the, when the Terran decides to go up to 5 racks and then just keeps pumping out M&M, sending it across the map, and a lot of Zergs have a little bit of trouble doing that. At least that's what we saw in day number 1.
Okay, does he go for Spire? This is interesting to see. Okay, he does go for Spire. We've seen a big resurgence of this yesterday. A lot of people going for Spire play. 3-hatch Spire, of course, very different from 2-hatch Spire. And the 3-hatch Spire hasn't really worked out for anyone yet. Just Terran's macroing up if you don't do any damage to him early on that +1 stem range, 5 racks, Marine Medic, Firebat Pump. It can be hard to deal with. We'll see how Larva does, though.
Yeah, the +1 that comes along at the same time as that is just what's so strong. Against Zerg now catching the SCV, and that's really big to deny vision.
That is a fantastic catch right there by Larva. Definitely have to hand it to him for that one, kind of feeling out where that SCV was headed, because a lot of times you'll see the SCV actually sneak by where the Zerglings are, because the Zerglings are trying to keep the Marines in for as long as possible, so they don't gain map control or force additional Sunkens early. But the fact that he catches this, if the Terran gets it in, he sees that Spire, he's completely prepared. You don't want to get comsats yet. You want to keep making SCVs right now. So, I mean, right now, he doesn't actually know if this is going to be Lurker or Muta.
Now, yesterday, if you remember Effort's games, one of his big struggles was getting a third base up. Zergs do tend to need either more hatcheries or just more bases in general. So getting that third base can be an opportunity, maybe a sign of weakness that Terrans try to pounce on. If not, if that does go unchecked, then we have issues where maybe Lurkers allow Zerg to hold on long enough and try to run the Terran over. But it's all about getting past that initial 5 racks. And we're still not exactly sure if that's the route that Light's going to go.
Well, he has added up to 5 racks at this point,
Okay,
so
I
definitely going to...
Didn't catch that name. But.
Going to start out this way for sure. We'll see if he stays on bio or if Larva can maybe hold it off and force a longer game here with this Mutalisk tech.
All right, trying to get some Zergling harassment. Might be able to run by. There's only 4 Marines defending, but they are going to be strong enough to at least pull this back. And here come in the first few Mutalisks. Will force Light to stay on his toes.
Yeah, the Lings actually end up taking down a little bit over there, a turret and whatnot. See if these Mutas can fly in and do some damage because of that. But looks like some pretty good turret placement overall. Single SCV being picked off right there.
Yeah, just trying to get inside around those missile turrets and pick off anything he can. Does take down a couple of SCVs and has hidden the drone all the way up there, looking for a third.
All right, the Muta's starting to pick off some of these Marines that are chasing. This is very nice by Larva to be able to pick these Marines off. An important moment in the game. Light just trying to trade out as much as he can for the Mutalisk health. But look at this. Oh, that was
okay.
That was awesome, too. He put that there because that'll slow the Marines while the 4th Sunk was building, but he cancels it as it finishes up. The 4 Sunks will be enough to hold this off.
Wow. Yeah, and that's one thing that we really saw Flash execute so impeccably in day number 1 is just hitting right before those Sunkens really come up. And so Larva able to delay that means that his base defense will at least survive through this early push.
Yeah, it's very solid the way that Larva has played this game overall so far. Like, he's timed everything out very well, catching the SCV, you know, having those Sunkens in place, even the small moves like the evolution chamber
but
block.
Look at Light. He actually sent one single Marine up to the top to kill off that drone, so that the third base will not be able to come up quite so easily.
He doesn't even really need to scout anywhere else, too. That was a huge tell. You're not going to have 2 drones on the map to try to fix, confuse your opponent or anything. That's not really how it works. You don't have that many Larva in StarCraft 1.
One thing that I think I remember seeing is players, Larva specifically would send out 2 drones just in case to try to hit both hatcheries. I didn't do that this time, so only 1, and it gets taken out. So that'll delay the third base a little bit, but I mean, Light has sort of contained Larva at this point, so he will need to get out and get that third eventually.
Yeah, he definitely does not have that. The Ling's going to clean up the Marine in the top left, it looks like. And he is going up to Hive already, so probably just going to rush into Defilers is my guess. Guardians would not be very good against, like, he hasn't done the damage. For instance, we saw Guardians win a ZVT yesterday, but that's because damage was already dealt. It's not actually the greatest late game tech unless you're ahead.
Right. You also need a little bit more than just these 2 bases to really support a ton of late game Zerg production, because you probably need a third gas at that point. But now trying to just pick off every little thing you can find on the map, taking out that SCV, and here goes Hero Drone number 2, trying to find another base out there for Larva.
Well, he might just take the close one, right? Because he has those 2 lurkers. He puts those on the ramp, and that bio army, you don't really want to try to break that. It'll get very, very messy indeed. He plays them perfect. You can't hit him from the low ground. So this is strong by Larva. He should be able to hold on to this base.
Yeah, you notice what Light did there on the mini-map, sent his a bio ball up to the upper left-hand corner of the map. That's where you see it most commonly, but here, sending Zerglings all the way on in, wiping out a sizable amount of Lights. M&M, this bunker holding at the front, but it might not be enough.
Yeah, it doesn't really reduce that Mutalisk count well enough for how many Marines he lost there. Now with the Defiler Mound on the way, Light is sitting here on 2 bases, and I think he's going to have to switch up his tech. It's going to be time probably for Spider Mines and a little switch up, but he is going into the Science Facility, so that could point towards him wanting to go into Science Vessels right away.
All right, well, here come the Mutas again inside the base. Really impressed by Larva's ability to just shave off little tiny bits and keeping active with his Lings on the map at the same time, able to pick off every scouting SCV.
Lurkers being morphed. That third base going to be coming up. Light still running around the map, keeping some semblance of map control. He's in a good position, can't really attack into there. And he's going to be able to join up his bio, so this is going to give him a lot of map control. Larva has to start playing a little bit defensively, get those Dark Swarms out, and keep those Lurkers alive.
Yeah, well, there is that Defiler Den, and of course, the third base now down at the close position instead of from afar. And if you actually notice, Light has positioned, I think that's just 1 Marine at the each upper corner, just to make sure that those are not the locations that Larva tries to get another base up at.
Yeah. If you do get him like far away and you have a ramp type thing, you're just never going to break that. But Light has a dropship, and he actually made a siege tank, which is kind of interesting because against Defilers, it's not really that helpful, but against Lurkers, obviously very good.
And here we go. Now there are patrolling Scourge. He's going to need to watch out.
Wow.
He only gets 1 Marine out. Great timing there by Larva. And he's got Dark Swarm over Lurkers on top of a ramp, which is just something you'll never get through as Terran.
Yeah, this is just really solid overall from Larva to catch that dropship when Light is still on 2 bases, and he's making an, like, this is the old way, like you'd go tank still against this in the old days of StarCraft when Light was a top player and go for lots of Science Vessels try to bust this. The thing is, it takes a very long time. You got to keep your Science Vessel alive. You have to just keep whittling Zerg down as much as you possibly can with the Radiate.
Sending 1 Hydralisk forward and then morphing it into a Lurker. I guess that's maybe trying to bait things a little bit further forward, but Light doing a great job sort of skirting around the edge there, not losing too much. Just waiting for that Dark Swarm to dissipate.
Yeah, this is kind of interesting. He's flanking the third base on both sides. This is a really cool move to send those Marines over. That's going to force Dark Swarm and Lurkers on both ramps. And like, that's, you know, you're just kind of forcing more Defiler usage, higher APM out of Larva here, and he's putting the pressure on. If he can bust the base, he's got a great advantage. The thing is, will he be able to? This tech that he has out right now, if you play as Zerg perfectly here, you are not going to lose your third.
All right, well, if he does manage to keep that third base up, I mean, that could really, really put Larva in a good spot. Third base only just now, I believe, being started. Yeah, there it is, Light. Very much, I guess not necessarily late because you can stay on 2 bases for a very, very long time, but just having that delayed more and more by these Mutalisks. Larva, pretty omnipresent.
Yeah, he's done a very good job scouting and keeping these mutas being kind of relevant to even slow down the making of that command center that long and to know where it is. That's a very good moment there for Larva. He's playing a super strong game right now. And even going into Greater Spire, which is kind of cool.
Okay, so we saw Greater Spire yesterday, and when I used to watch Brood War way back, okay, hold that thought. We've got Lurkers moving forward underneath that Dark Swarm, picking off a lot of Marines and even more to allow these Zerglings to chase further.
Yeah, continuing to move up right now with his Lurkers. There are Widow Mines being, or not Widow Mines, Spider Mines being placed all over the place, so that's going to have to be something that he really looks out for.
Oh, not great control there by Light. He actually loses quite a few Marines there right in the middle. Just the Lurkers he knows already there. Medic's going down there as well, and it looks like, okay, I'm not sure exactly why we showed all those Overlords. I don't think he's going to go for drop just yet.
No, I don't think that. There's no reason for him to go drop.
What is he doing there? Light just losing so many forces, trying to make it up ramps.
Well, this is starting to get to be quite a sloppy game. Look at that mini-map. Light has some forces all over the place. He's trying to set up his third base. He's trying to tech correctly here, lay Spider Mines, keep his army moving around, dodge the Lurkers that are in the top portion of the map. This is some tough stuff right now, and Light is, like, I don't want to say he's falling apart. He's still okay. He still has map control, and that's super important.
Wow. All right, fourth base now being attempted as we do see Guardians morphing, getting ready here. Got a chance to see Zero showcase the power of these late-game Zerg flyers yesterday. We'll see if Larva can put them to use here against Light.
Yeah, that's going to be just very annoying to deal with. If you have that extra money, it's really a cool way to utilize any leftover mutas, because right now the mutas are just not worth anything. But for Guardians, Terran doesn't want to have to answer that right now. He's trying to deal with Defilers.
Yeah, and Marines versus Guardians is just never a fair fight. Very, very long range. Of course, Lurkers burrowed here too. Light will not be able to get the cancel there on that 4th base coming up, and so he'll need to shift his army around if he does want to put that pressure on.
Well, Light, I love that he has this 4th command center going up in this top right area, and he does have a decent amount of bio there actually to make sure that it can stay up. That's a great way for him to utilize his bio as he does continue to tech up. Because we haven't seen it yet, but yeah, looking at just the mini-map, he is switching into mech for sure, like fully. The barracks look like they're starting to float around the map to spot things, so very, very smart tech switch at this point. This game, I think it's going to go long, man. I got to say, Larva is playing much better than he has in ASL so far. This is very solid showing.
All right, now those Guardians is going to struggle to find a good place to get to keep themselves safe, but as these Lurkers move forward, they are able to push Light back just ever so slightly. What does this look like if you're the late game Terran player making this tech switch? Is there any real vulnerability you're looking to exploit?
Well, what you're trying to do is make the mines really get cost efficient for right now in the game. You're trying to control the map as well so you can actually mine from these additional bases. Eventually, Larva will want to get into Ultralisk, he'll want to get into drops and things like that and make it a super messy game.
And 6 single Wraith, that solo Wraith able to take out quite a few Guardians, because I don't think there are very many Mutalisks left over, if any.
Yeah, I think there's none altogether. Like, the mutas become kind of useless, so,
right.
You know, eventually he did end up dealing with that. Now, look, that's what you're looking to do right now. Having these mines actually connect with Defilers. Sometimes with Lings they can do all right, but the Lurkers as well. This is, like, very efficient for Light.
Oh, man, even getting a mine hit off there onto that Defiler. Defiler with 8 HP left will need to be very, very careful.
Yeah, he needs to actually hold this off. Oh my god, a couple bunkers, a bunch of siege tanks moving out. But if he loses his top right 4th base, that is going to be a real issue. But look at that. Oh, the mine hit really coming into play there.
Force the Dark Swarm just to save that very low HP Defiler. He's actually getting his siege tanks caught out of position by Zerglings.
Yeah, those are adrenal upgrade Zerglings right there. Cracklings, as we call them. And to lose siege tanks to those right at this moment, that's pretty rough. He needs more vultures out on the map.
Yeah, there are bunkers and static defense up there, but is it enough against 3 Lurkers already burrowed? Lurkers gonna get on top of those siege tanks, forcing them at least to unsiege and maybe being able to take them out.
Ooh, just barely getting it before that scan runs out, and in fact holds the Lurkers that hit top right, so that was really good. But in the meantime, Larva has his 4th base up, mining gas already. He has a 5th base that popped up as well. No drones there yet, though.
Yeah, he's just mining gas off of that one as he continues to just flood the map with these cracklings, trying to get on top of these siege tanks, even just taking them out with a couple of Zerglings, so much value there for Larva.
Yeah, that top right, though, I really like his setup overall, having the bunkers and everything, having the Wraith up there as well. Like, he has enough that the 4th base, like, his mining has not been hurt at all this game. Light has gotten his 3rd very close to when he wanted it. He got his 4th absolutely when he wanted it. And he just hasn't been interrupted. So his economy is flowing very well.
The little spider mine that could.
Oh, man.
Winds up re-burrowing halfway across the map.
Yep.
I love spider mines. Spider mines and scarabs are some of the most, like, intricate AI. I want to, like, take that Brood War AI programmer out to dinner and just be like, so what was the real thought process here?
Yeah.
It's like, well, I just thought they might like to run around a little bit.
We never thought a spider mine would go that far, but I mean, sometimes they go across the map, man. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Looks like the Wraith will finally get dealt with here with some Scourge, some turrets going up. And this is a good setup. Like, right now, Light just wants to stay very efficient, regain map control, re-get his spider mines out, and do some harassment.
All right, well, here is that harassment, Artosis. Vultures coming through. Unfortunately, those canisters do not go through Dark Swarm, which works somehow, I guess.
Yeah, well, I mean, Dark Swarm, man, almost nothing goes through. Now, this is a good move by Larva.
Oh, so sick. Now, that's something that I guess Effort and I guess Zero to a lesser extent really kind of pioneered, getting a lot of queens versus late game meching Terran. You broodling the siege tanks, it one-shots them, and the broodlings themselves can actually cause more splash damage from other tanks to hit other tanks and really kind of cascade.
You kidding me? He just scanned those queens.
What?
He just scanned
where?
those
What?
queens.
Like, why would you scan? How do you know? That's so
Like,
sick.
yeah, no, I mean, this is how good Light is. Remember where his 2 Marines went in the beginning? He just knows things, man. He's smart. But, yeah, the Broodlings are going to be really efficient. Every time that you're going to hit those siege tanks, like the Queen is paying for itself again. So as he gets those Broodlings off, it's going to be awesome, awesome, awesome stuff here for Light, or for Larva, rather.
Yeah, so it should be noted that Queen's pretty useless aside from that. Now, they do have... I guess they do have snare,
which slows things, and parasite, which gives you some vision. And technically, you can counter Parasite with a medic upgrade, but you're never going to see that.
So
like, the amount of games that someone has gotten restoration on medics in pro play is, like, probably 0.
It's about
I
the
can't
same
think of
number
one.
of games that Zerg players have upgraded antennae for their overlords to give them additional sight radius for 150 gas.
I think that might even be more useful, to be honest. But look, he's sieging up. The Dark Storm is slowing him down. Only the splash damage can do any damage underneath that storm. Scourge coming after these side vessels. He really wants to keep those alive if possible.
Yeah,
but that's only 2 Goliaths there.
Yeah, Light not overproducing. He made 1 Wraith, he made 2 Goliaths, just a little bit. That's the salt and pepper that you add to your delicious dish. Now,
yeah.
Okay, that's actually like an entire control group of queens up there. Spawn Broodling is, I think, 150 energy. It's something like, it's an insanely high energy cost.
And it costs like 200, if I recall correctly, to upgrade. So it's like, it's no laughing. And queens are what, 150, 100? I'm kind of pulling this off the top of my head. I think that's the numbers, but like, it's an investment that he's made here, and it takes time to pay off. When he scanned, that's why Light moved out. He's like, okay, I got to get this game rolling, because otherwise the queens are going to wreck me.
Look at that Defiler. He's making a run for it, boys. Here comes that Spawn Broodling. I mean, those are Plague tanks, so you probably don't need to invest too much on them, but he is able to take them all out. And now, as this base does get sieged, we'll have more and more queens flooding across the map.
Yeah, he does have to wait, though, on that. And, you know, that scan of Light was just so, like, magical, right? Because if he had waited any longer, and, like, the
get
eraser.
your pencils out, turn them upside down. That's an eraser. So many drones getting taken out.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. An awesome move right there, utilizing the splash damage of a Radiate. Some more Goliaths being added in as well. He is pushing absolutely everywhere.
It's drone genocide. They're all getting taken out. You can even... so, I'm not sure exactly what the splash damage radius is on a Radiate.
But it's like basically where the cloud is.
Okay, so it's not going to take out Scourge that are chasing you unless they're just like right on top.
Yeah, no, not really. Like, there's some tricks you could do if they clicked a certain vessel and, like, you run, but
oh my God.
No, it's won't.
And then there were none. Siege Days just getting Broodlinged all over the place, and it does buy enough time for these Ultras to come out. Ultra Bro, there we go, starting to hit the Goliaths.
This is just not working out right now for Larva. You know, kind of getting caught almost with his pants down. You know, the thing is, as he gets more Broodling spells, that is going to help, but Light has taken yet another 2 bases, even the middle of the map, which is craziness, and is destroying everything in his path.
Yeah, I mean, the Spawn Broodling's pretty cool. I mean, the ability to one-shot a unit, I mean, that sounds pretty good to me, but it's pretty slow, and look at these erasers just devastating his economy.
He just continues onward with that, throwing down a Plague. He'll eventually get rid of the science vessels, perhaps, but, you know, all these queens just sitting here trying to gain more energy. He doesn't have all that much economy or production. Hopefully these Ultras can do something to help bring him back.
I mean, that's a big hopefully. More queens coming out now that they do have enough energy for Spawn Broodling. And you can see the queens just sitting there. It's like a... Okay, there's GG. Larva just cannot deal with it. Queens looking cool, but in the end, it is Light that will claim game number 1 for Team Best.
All right, well done there by Light. He wasn't like spectacular early on. I felt like Larva was outplaying him there for a while. But when he scanned and saw the queens there, like he actually just kind of scanned that area looking for whatever was going on.
Sickest star sense.
I think he had a good idea that queens would be on the way at this point. And the thing is, when you see that, it just tells you to go, because he has to save up a ton of energy. That's a very expensive spell to get off, which is why we never used to see it. Mech against Zerg existed, but was much more rare back in the day. But like, if you just go at that point, he's already spent so much money getting queens out. His army is going to be a lot smaller, right? Because he hasn't spent that on actual units that can join in. And then the queens will get less broodlings overall because you're going. They're going to cast as soon as they get it, and then they have to wait again. So that was like a very clutch scan by Light, which really allowed him to roll through Larva, who played a very good game.
Yeah, Larva did actually look pretty spectacular. He was able to hold Light to 2 bases, get his third base up, and at that point, the real tech switch, very well executed by Light, took him out. And that is going to do it for our first game in the series. Team Stork looking to bring it back.
Yeah. Well, you know, they are definitely favored in the next match, as Stork himself is playing one of the greatest players of all time. So we'll see how that goes, man. We're going to go to a quick commercial break, though. When we come back, Stork versus Ware.
지금까지 방구하러 가서 나쁘다는 말 들어본 적 있어? 모두가 쉬쉬해온 방에 대한 나쁜 정보. 다방면으로 보자. 다방.
좋은 냄새가 납니다. 된장찌개 먹는 좋은 냄새가.
하면 뭐다? 너 냄새 난다고? 베브리즈 맨으로 남자 5대 냄새 파괴. 베브리즈 맨.
마음이 가는 대로 즐겁고 신나게 쓰자. 캠퍼스 시리즈.
김대리, 커피.
예.
어이, 야, 어깨 좀 졸라봐.
지키건 지키자. 겨울 가장 지키고 싶은 RPG 수호삼국지. 지금까지 방구하러 가서 이런 나쁜 말 들어본 적 있어?
모두가 쉬쉬해온 방에 대한 나쁜 정보.
다방면으로 보자. 다방.
Welcome back to the ASL team battle. Just had a very nice long macro game between Larva and Light. Unfortunately for Team Stork, Light was able to take it down, but Stork himself steps up to bat next.
That is very true. Stork, in many ways, the Dabang baseball bat, is looking to be fielded to take his team back to a 1-1 score, and of course favored very much in this matchup. It's a little bit one-sided.
Well, you know, if Stork is the baseball bat, where is the bubble gum?
Oh my god, yeah, he's about to pop, man.
Yeah, it's where really showed like a poor performance in ASL, to be honest. It was not like very good looking games. Of course, there were so many legends in there. Where is obviously still a fantastic StarCraft 1 player. It's just he was a little bit, or a lot of it, overshone, I guess. Is that the way to say that? I don't know.
Overshadowed?
Overshadowed.
There we go.
I think overshone works. I'm going to go with that. I'm going to back this up. But yeah, like, it's Stork, obviously one of the best players ever, so Ware has to... Yeah, I mean, see, he got to the round of 24. That was the first round. He fell right out. He's ASL total record. Like, yeah, this is... I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how well he plays here against Stork. It's Blue Storm. Stork is in pretty good shape, right? Like, he had some good series in ASL. He made it pretty deep. But it's best of one. Who knows?
It's actually really cool, at least for me, to see these guys face off against each other. If you guys watched the Neox versus Moo team battle, then actually every match tonight is going to be a Neox player versus a Moo player. So, yeah, kind of cool to see that pair off that way. But either way, yeah, Stork versus Ware. Ware's team may be up one game. Stork looking to bring it back. And here we are on our new map, Blue Storm. Of course, they're in blue, looking to storm his opponent. Oh, that's right. It works because they're High Templar. Well, that's Stork. There's his opponent, Ware.
Yeah, no doubt storms will be seen if the game gets so long, which I would imagine it will. Of course, Blue Storm, such a fun map, one of my favorite maps of all time.
Yeah, it was always one of my least favorite maps because there's a really short rush distance and I was not good, so I would just die to rushes every game. I'm like, well, this doesn't seem like something that should be allowed. When in fact, what was not allowed was me just being really bad.
It was always a very popular map back in the day. It was just like kind of, it makes very interesting games. I actually have a fun little anecdote. In the C channel on IC Cup back in, obviously the rank quality has changed as the player base has changed, but like back in the day, like if you made a new account and had to go through, as a Terran player, you would just check your main base because every game would be, because it's such a close distance, they just make gateways in your base.
In your base?
Yeah. Yeah. I would just go like 8 racks plus scout my base and just hold it every time. It was every single game in the C channel. It was so weird. Anyways, that's why those guys are all stuck at C. But yeah, anyways, that has nothing to do with this. This is a PVZ. It is kind of a complicated wall-in that you have to learn for this map overall. Sometimes you're going to have to put some units on hold position that little crack as well to buy some time.
Yeah, a bigger wall if you want to secure your main, just your main, and wall off there. If you want to push out and just like wall off your natural, then I mean you can block the tiny little choke point, but there's a way to get around that anyway. So.
And look, this is a Zergling rush, it looks like, that's going to be happening here. So Stork is scouting this quickly enough. The thing is, you have to kind of know how many Lings are coming, and if it's speed. So he might have to make multiple cannons here to make sure he guns down those Lings. Does scout and sees the drone going out for the hatchery, and now we'll see, in fact, that these Lings will have speed. And see, there is the double cannon that was mentioned previously.
Got 2 cannons on the way. First 6 Lings out on the map. Speed should be finished by the time they do make their way over to Stork's base. And yeah, even adding a 3rd cannon just to be safe.
Yeah, he's not really messing around here. But it looks like, okay, so Ware is not yet making the hatchery and is, in fact, keeping the Zerglings back. He doesn't need to hit until speed anyways, and he's trying to cover up how many Lings he's actually making, because if you under-defend at all, he'll just win the game. You get speedlings in that base, the game is over, like if you get 3 or more.
Well, on the other hand, if you overcompensate and he just makes aggressive Lings and then just, drones and macros behind it, then it's like, okay, well, you just put yourself behind.
Like, look, what does Stork have right now? He has a functioning economy on his 1 base, but he hasn't started his gas or his gateway. He's just now starting the Nexus, so... and look, yeah, the 3 probes here to try to make sure that he can hold on against whatever amount of Lings this is, because he knows that the amount that Ware is trying to deny scouting here. Look, he already sees this is a big amount of Lings. This means there's not a lot of drones. There's more Lings being made, and the amount that he is trying to kill this probe, this is a big tell. That says, I have more Lings in my main base.
Oh, yeah, and there we go. Indeed, seeing them pop out there. It might also look a little bit weird, guys, to see those 3 probes blocking the main or the entrance, but if you don't have those there, then you'll actually just lose.
Yeah, they'll be able to run right past. And in fact, he's blocking like every little hole. The geyser is actually part of the wall. So this is a hard one, right? So he needs something up above there.
Interestingly enough, if you build an assimilator on that geyser, I think it blocks less terrain than if it's just a geyser.
Okay.
Yeah, because there used to be patches where you'd need to kill the assimilators in order to move through a choke point. There's some weird maps that use that as like a terrain blocker.
All right, let's see. This is a ton of Lings. He is making a 3rd hatchery behind this. Even more Lings still popping. This is crazy. This is such a commitment from Ware. And Stork is moving his probe, so this is bad news bears for him.
Here we go, trying to get it up in there. They do run through the cannons, but decent amounts of surrounds there. All 3 cannons getting taken out, and Stork could be in trouble.
Yeah, look at Best. He's so happy right now. It was a big gamble. Like, Stork had just moved his probes. If his probes are still sitting there, then Ware has no drones, and he's going to lose the game.
Oh, and even now pulling more drones. If he can get that pylon down, then it's really just going to unpower everything. And GG Stork, so cautious up until the point
where he was
himself. There we go. GG, it's Ware coming out on top.
Yeah, look, it was ballsy by Ware. He took a lot of risks there. And Stork, the thing is, you leave your probes there for too long and he's been making only drones behind, then you get behind, right? So it's a hard thing to make this decision correctly. But if those probes still sat there, this rush wouldn't have worked. Stork would have held it. The game would have been his. But, he just couldn't tell. Ware blocked so much scouting intel. So good job on him, and obviously a frustrated Stork here. His team now down 0-2. I mean, they have to win the 2 vs. 2, which is never something you want to bet on.
Yeah, definitely kind of up in the air on the map. Hunters, we'll be talking about that a lot more coming up next. But, man, you can just see Best and Light there on the bench just really cheering on Ware as he went into a matchup that many people would have counted him out in. Wound up coming out on top.
Yeah, so great job, man. I mean, he did what he needed to do. It was like Stork was getting ready for it with the 3 cannons and all, right? He kind of had the idea that Ware shouldn't be able to beat him in a longer macro game, and damn, he's probably right about that, but Ware never let it get there. So this could end up being a very fast night for all we know, man, especially, we'll have to see what race Light gets in that 2 vs. 2, though. He's going random.
That's actually true, so that could definitely help or hurt. If you get double Zerg, then wow, that is a big advantage. If they get maybe Zerg Terran, going to be a little bit iffy. But
yeah.
Either way, I'm actually just like so impressed. It's hard to get over seeing the star power of a guy named Stork, but Where did it? We will be heading out to a quick commercial break before we come back for our 2 versus 2 match. Larva and Free versus Where and Light.
지금까지 방구하러 가서 나쁘다는 말 들어본 적 있어?
모두가 쉬쉬해온 방에 대한 나쁜 정보.
다방면으로 보자. 다방.
요즘 디지털 하도 그러니까 더 이상 새로울 게 없잖아요. 근데 이거는 좀 달라요. 알고리즘. 이거 참 재밌대. 디지털 현대카드.
빛의 힘을 보여드리죠.
반갑네.
얘들아, 힘을 빌려줘. 누구도 나를 막을 순 없어. 방해하겠다면 전부 부숴주지. 판타지 마스터즈 2.
좋은 냄새가 당면 된장찌개 좋은 냄새가.
하면 뭐다? 너 냄새 난다고. 베브리즈 맨으로 남자 5대 냄새 파괴. 베브리즈 맨.
마음이 가는 대로 즐겁고 신나게 쓰자. 캠퍼스 시리즈.
졸라봐.
지키건 지키자. 겨울 가장 지키고 싶은 RPG 수호삼국지. 지금까지 방구하러 가서 이런 나쁜 말 들어본 적 있어?
모두가 쉬쉬해온 방에 대한 나쁜 정보.
다방면으로 보자. 다방.
All right, guys, welcome back. Right now, Team Best leading 2-0.
I actually thought he was going to go way long tonight, and so did Harry. She definitely expected this to be a little bit more even than it is right now, but this is where we have it. Heading into our 2 versus 2, it's going to be on Hunters. If you guys didn't catch yesterday's games, and what were you doing with your lives?
I know. That's it was pretty fun yesterday. Just to run it down in case you weren't there and didn't hear the explanation. So 2 versus 2 used to be a big part of Pro League way back in the day. In fact, even before the day, like really long ago. The thing is, a lot of things about 2 versus 2 were figured out. Like double Zerg is too strong. Double Zerg is banned. It's been banned for so long because it was just mass Zerglings all the time. So what can happen is we'll have a Zerg and a random sometimes, which is actually what Team Best will be doing today. Terran is generally considered weak because you can't help your opponent. Marines early on are just too weak to walk across the map. You just get surrounded and stuff. Like, Terran is very positional early on. The thing is, you can get a boost with it, so if we see someone random into Terran, you're never going to see someone pick Terran in a 2 versus 2, but you will occasionally see it random. And if that occurs, I can talk more about that. But this is the team for Team Stork. It's going to be Free and Larva, and they are going to be playing their main races, which are Protoss and Zerg.
Yeah, so this will be interesting. We get a chance to see Free out here tonight. If Team Stork wins, then he will be the 4th player fielded, so he'll be playing a little bit later on. But to see Protoss come in here, what does that give your 2v2 team when you do have a Protoss? We saw Flash play Protoss yesterday, and
Flash was a Zerg.
Yeah, he played Zerg.
Well, to be fair, Flash
Rain.
didn't do a very good job. His additional Sunkens were a little bit late. Non-Zerg races, because if you have 2 Zerg, then they just control the map completely. So in that case, like, what we needed to see last night was the teching up into +1 in legs so that Zealots really wreck Zerglings. Unfortunately, it didn't go that well for them. Here, just having Zerg and Protoss, it's going to matter what the random race is for their opponent. If it's Zerg and Protoss, they can take to the map and try to get good engagements, try to get, actually just make it work. Whereas if they get like double Zerg, Protoss has to sit back in his base, and Zerg is going to be like really attacked upon, right? And then if it's Terran, that's a whole nother ballgame that I can talk about afterwards, where like the Zerg player will turtle, and the Terran player, most likely what will happen, well, almost 100%, the Zerg player will make a lot of Sunks and Lings, and then we'll just see the Terran player tech up to either Vultures or Bio to try to just win the game by himself once his teammate dies.
And it's really interesting because there are a lot of games, mostly team games, where maybe one player just gets super strong and then can kill everybody else on the map. Mm-hmm. That's kind of what you're talking about, whereas if you just get that tiny tech advantage, you can actually just win the game from there on.
Like, if your opponents have, like, if he gets Terran, okay, like, I guess let's talk about it, because we don't know how many times we'll see random in this. But if he gets Terran, like, you can go, like, Marine Medic and have some Fire Bats in there, or you can tech up to Vultures. Now, if your opponents are making these low-tier units, Bio with Medics and Fire Bats, like Zealots and Zerglings, are just going to melt to that. Same is true with Vultures. If you have Vultures with speed and mines, you can kill infinity Zealots. Infinity. It is crazy. Like, you can use one, I could say right now, with one Vulture and kill 20 Zealots without getting hit. Like, it is, pro gamers have this micro that you flick it back and forth. It just is way faster than them. So You can win the game by yourself as a Terran. It's real hard though, man. Like, because they get so many units that they can, even if you're trying some of this fancy stuff, they're going to pin you, they're going to surround you.
Yeah.
You need to do it just right, and it's not very reliable at all.
That is very true. Pursuit curves are a thing. You will eventually catch up to one thing with many things eventually.
Yes, that's a pursuit curve. I've never heard it called that. But yeah, maps aren't infinite.
That is very true. There are edges. This is not like Pac-Man. You don't come out the other side.
Yeah.
Can you imagine playing Brood War if you could come out the other side of a map? You spawn on opposite and you just run through your base
That would
into
be
theirs.
so crazy.
Oh my god.
Every game would probably be base trades.
Yeah.
Like, really. Like, you'd never, the guy who was going to win, the other guy would just go base trade by popping up out the other side of the map, I think. In fact, bases would probably have to be in the middle of the map, right?
Oh my
to try to
God.
prevent things like that. The whole balance of the game would be so drastically different.
Well, that's a story for another time.
That's just
Artosis.
off the top of my head.
I've
never
just,
even
thought
this
about that,
thought.
but now I'm just like, wow, that
Yeah.
would literally change everything.
Yeah, it would.
It would be like if you had your map like wrapped around a sphere. Like if you were playing on a planet. Have you ever played like Supreme Commander or
it would be
anything
like,
that?
a donut, right? Like asteroids is a donut shape.
Uh-huh.
So that would be the best way to have them pop out the other end, right?
Right. Okay. This is
Space
taxing
donut.
my brain. Space.
Donut Craft 2. Or I guess this would be Donut Craft Brood War. All right.
All right, so it looks like we're still having our players setting up their settings. There are twice as many players on the stage, Artosis, and that is the only time you'll catch me doing math tonight.
Oh my gosh. Well, I don't know. I think I could trick you. I'm like, if he has 2 Zerglings already and another egg is about to hatch, how many Zerglings is he about to have?
And Artosis, if 3 Zerglings are heading northwest at 5 miles per hour and another Zealot's heading southeast, at what point will I have no idea what I'm talking about? The answer is very, very quickly. So here we go, Larva and Free versus Wear Light in our 2v2 map coming up. Stork just bought everybody burgers so they'd cheer louder for him.
All right. So lifting off of that command center. That'll be our observer, of course. And let's see what race. I see 3 Zergs, my friend. That means Zerg here. That is a big advantage for Team Best. They might 3-0. It's a possibility.
Good day to be random players, I guess. So this is going to be really interesting because, A, you have to scout that. You don't know that you're going up against 2 Zergs. And then, B, you have to play accordingly. So what is the play style that you would go for in this situation?
Okay, this is especially interesting because of the spawns. 1 Zerg on each side is very far away, and then the Protoss and Zerg are right next to each other. So that could be some additional pressure from Protoss coming out. It's just like he's in a position where he actually can do counterattacks and stuff. A lot of times you'll see the 2 Zergs team up on a Zerg because Protoss can kind of defend a little bit better. Whereas if you have Zerglings and they have twice as many Zerglings, then you have half as many Zerglings that they have, which means you can't hold it, right? It's crazy stuff. Sunkens get like progressively worse.
I
like,
left my textbook at home, Artosis.
No, I know, it's crazy. It's
I did
crazy
not
stuff.
study for this exam. Oh my God. All right, well, like you said, being split up can make things a little bit more vulnerable, but at least for now, we are seeing everything progress exactly standardly. You want to get your aggressive units, your fighting units out as quickly as possible, and it does look like, at least for the time being, we're going to see Larva going for that gas.
Yeah, they're going to have to get some speed. We're going to see a lot of Zealots popping out of Free. And the thing is, like, I think that this is going to be a much better game than what we saw last night in the PV, or the 2 versus 2, rather. The second hatchery going up for Wear, so definitely going a little bit more macro heavy. Of course, it is he and light, so it's green and red guys, that kind of the rightish side of the map to try to keep this in your brain correctly against the leftish, like if you draw that diagonal.
Yeah.
Larva's really far away, though. It's going to be hard for him to help.
Yeah, that's actually something that's going to be interesting as we watch more and more 2v2 is to see how not only the racial imbalance goes, but also positional advantages. If you spawn like up in the upper right-hand corner, like that 2 o'clock, then your minerals mine a little bit more slowly. If you spawn in on the sides, then you can actually wall off really easily. So
yeah. By the way, this Sunken being made right away, this is a nod towards the fact that Protoss is right next to him. Zealots are quite strong early on against Zerglings, so he's playing a little bit turtly at the moment. Larva getting out of there immediately with his Zerglings, getting that quick speed as well, but Where is the one that's powering here? He's going to be able to outproduce everybody.
Oh boy. All right, well, first Zerglings finally entering its neighbor's base. These are not your Mr. Rogers Zerglings. They do not want to be your neighbor. They want to get in there and kill everything. So it does look like, I mean, defender's advantage is still a thing, so you probably will need to team up at least for just a little bit, but not wanting to overcommit there. We'll see how well this defense goes for a free.
Yeah, a lot of speedlings out here, so he's just trying to utilize that speed advantage, but with the double hatchery, there's just going to be more Zerglings. So there's not like a whole lot that Larva can do. So this is actually a fantastic time to go join up with Light. I mean, with Free, sorry, and attack Light. This is like very well done. This is their window right now before Ware gets too strong with his double hatchery opener.
All right, well, in the meantime, this is going to allow Ware to get his Zerglings all the way out across the map, but will they be there in time? Spawning pool dropping lower and lower, and it looks like it's just going to be targeted down.
Oh, man, and without that, you can't make any more Sunks, you can't make any more Zerglings, but luckily he had already started his second Sunken, and now here's Ware. Coming up with a lot of Zerglings, but that retreat right there by Free and Larva, very good. They don't get flanked against the Sunks.
Here's Ware. I guess you could also say Ware's here as well. Oh, boy.
Ware's on second.
Yeah, well,
Larva's on third.
Okay, well, that's just not as funny, Argos. Well, this is actually really interesting because we don't see the Zerg team just being objectively dominant right off the bat. And what does killing the spawning pool really mean?
Well, killing the spawning pool has slowed everything down here. You just can't really produce the lings. The second Sunken was very well done by Light, though. He was quite prepared. And he's got the layer super fast as well, so he's just trying to get up to mutas to destroy a Zerg player.
Yep, it's a Ware lair. All right, well, Zealot's position with their backs up against walls, which in this case is actually pretty good because it allows them to have much better surface area against those attacking Zerglings. Pulling back, though, but several drones going down.
Where is the sick MVP tonight, man? Like, taking down Stork, and now he's defended against this double rush. He had great placement. He did do this kind of powering build as well, so that's very good, but you know, something's going to have to happen very soon for Free and Larva. They haven't teched at all. In fact, you see that Forge coming up? He's going to need a cannon so that his probes don't just all die to Mutalisks.
I mean, that is definitely in the future. Spire almost done, and there are plenty of Larva unused sitting by that hatchery. So keep an eye on everything. Those two Zerglings that Light actually got up into Free's base are actually still alive. So really, really interesting to see great control, not only just in these battles that matter, but also across the map, keeping that scouting on, seeing what is coming his way.
Okay, that's a lot of Zealots. A nice wall being made as well, trying to keep Ware inside of here. That's so cool. It's very cost efficient to attack those Zealots. So now they can actually double team, and this could do very well. A drone drill on top of those Zealots, trying to slow it down while the mutas are being made. A drone drill over here as well to get the lings through this Zealot wall.
Oh my god, those Zealots just absolutely ineffective. Some drones going down, but mutas popping out means that there is a sick timer here. Sunken will be taken out there, but just look at how effective these drones are at dealing with Zealots.
Really screwing up the AI everywhere while the mutas get these pot shots. Mutas don't kill things super fast, especially when they have 3.
Oh, 10 HP! It's gonna go down, so Spire out of there, but Muta's still on the map.
Okay, but you know what? He's holding on here. He has that second creep, so he can make another Sunken and kind of stay alive. And with the mutas out, this becomes a problem. No one has anti-air units to deal with Light's 3 mutas.
That's right, man. Nothing shoots up out there on the map. Some spores coming up, cannons as well. And so, at least for the time being, these mutas reign supreme in the skies. Now, these Zerglings coming through just to try to get a few either drone kills or snipe that one low Sunken in the back line. Even a sick drone coming over here as well.
The Muta's trying to find something over here. Just pick on whatever they can. You know, unfortunately for him, he did lose the Spire, so it's only 3 Mutas. Probably for the rest of the game. He doesn't really have the economy to make anything else. So probably just going to re-drone, add some Zerglings in, and, you know, hopefully Ware's huge economy can help carry him through.
Oh, that's actually what's so cool about this is that we don't see just a 2v2 that ends instantly. It's kind of what we had yesterday. Flash's Zerg not quite up to par in the 2v2, and he even said that in the interview afterwards. But this time around, we've gotten to see a little bit of tech, some Mulis coming out. They're still putting on some pressure, but taking a lot of cannon shots. He actually might even lose one. Yeah, and he does.
Ooh, that's a little bit sloppy there by Light. To lose that there. But yeah, like Ware is playing a very good Zerg, and he's doing the Zergy things, whereas Light, who's playing his off race, right, he's just kind of turtled this game and tried to tech up. So they've kind of like given themselves the right ideas to do as this double Zerg. Very much like it. And, you know, Free, as he techs up here, it's going to become interesting. If he gets some upgrades, like a +1 attack, Zerglings are going to be slaughtered no matter how many you have.
All right, trying to get up there onto those Zealots. However, legs are good. They're using them to run away with. And it's actually really interesting to see these Mutalisks not being as effective as I thought just because of how good that static defense is.
Yeah, the Cannon's doing a great job fending them off, but a Spire is on the way again, which is kind of interesting because a Stargate's coming up as well. So, I mean, Corsair is going to be a very good counter to more Mutas.
This is so cool. We're already seeing those drones coming up to try to glitch out the Zergling AI. It's very, very effective at doing so. You want to keep those drones safe.
As this actually dies, the Sunken, he is going to have a hard time, but more Lings popping out right now. It looks like this was a very efficient hold by Larva.
Wow, that Sunken just getting infinity kills. And it's not a unit, so we can't see exactly how many, but just look at all that Zergling blood. Insane hold there for Larva.
Yeah, it almost was like the use map Zergling blood from what I saw. Oh my god, just craziness. The Stargate actually getting picked off a little bit. A Corsair on the way. He really doesn't want to lose his Stargate. Now, okay, he gets the Corsair, so that pushes the Mutas back. And those Corsairs are really going to come in big as, you know, we've actually seen Light commit into a Spire again.
Now, this many Zealots, they are not upgraded, so no +1 there. Going to try to go in and get us around there on the Sunkens, get into the mineral line, but the Mutas coming out will force them back.
This is a great 2 versus 2 game so far, I gotta say. Really fantastic play from every single player in this game, making it really fun. Larva, it's hard to keep track of 3 Zergs, but Larva down on the bottom right now, adding some more static D, because this is getting pretty tough, right? The Zealots are kind of marching back and forth, but that's a long walk for slow Zealots.
It is definitely indeed, but another attempt at harassment here. This time not just diving in on the drones, which are very well protected by that Sim City. All right, I take that back. He is trying to get some damage done there. Another great drone drill, but here's try number 2 for Free to get his Zealots in to Light's base.
And once again, that Sunken holds tight on the bottom, so Larva's defense has been immaculate. Ware has spent so many Zerglings trying to break through. This is really not going well for him.
Now, there are so many Mutas out at this point that running those Zealots away is not going to be the recipe for success. Another nice drone drill to completely glitch out those Zealots, which will not be able to take anything down.
Oh my god, yeah, this was one of the most inefficient things absolutely ever. Light in a great spot, but these Corsairs are going to pay off well. +1 attack on the way for them, and when he gets up to a good amount, he can kill every Overlord, all the Mutas. It's going to be lights out for the Zerg players.
Well, it's going to be lights out for Light specifically, because even though he does have a couple of spores up, I mean, you're not going to be able to defend against this many things. Trying to dive in and take everything out.
Yeah, they're trying to get something done right now while that Corsair count is still reasonably low. More Zerglings getting in. Larva losing a lot of drones here. Actually, some great targeting from Ware. He's going to be able to take down the second Sunken as well, so that means that all the economy will be shattered.
Yeah, and Ware just going in there, completely destroying everything that Larva has at this point. He doesn't even really have any drones left, certainly has no mining. There's an expansion coming up for Light, though.
Dude, this is really a fantastic game, and it kind of underlines what we were talking about. It was very close and very good for a long time, but eventually the double Zerg do take down the single Zerg, right? And this is a very common thing for 2 versus 2, which means now Free, who has overall the best tech in this game, has to basically win it by himself. There's nothing left for Larva. And the thing is, he might be able to.
Yeah, that's very, very possible. Just because, like you said, if you have no Mutalisks, then you can't. Then nothing really hits the Corsairs.
Yeah.
And if you have no Overlords, you can't build anything. So,
yeah.
I mean, that's just kind of checkmate at that point.
He will wipe everything. This is enough Corsairs that even Spores are not going to keep the Overlords alive, and he has +1 on him. So, like, what we need to see is Light connect with these Scourge. And the thing is, he is a Terran player. So this is not the easiest thing for him to make happen. This is a matchup he never plays, ZVP.
Yeah, Scourge splitting is not that easy. And here we will see Larva's base just get cleaned up by a few little Zerglings. I did see a couple of Hydralisks pop out for Light, so he's going to be at least attempting to defend against what is a very, very strong free army, which ironically costs money.
Look, legs +1. These Sunkens are not going to be enough this time, I think. Like, everything can come back, like the mutas and everything, but if that all evaporates to these +1 Corsairs, Free is on his way to possibly winning this game.
What you do, Artos, is you upgrade Disro. Oh, man, you got to get those out of there. The Corsairs right on top of the mutas, but perfect splitting.
Yeah, that was really quick. Very impressive micro there by Light.
Lots of Sunkens all getting their damage done. Unfortunately, no Disruption Web upgrade to stop that from working out, but there it is, the elimination of Larva, so he is no longer in this game, so it's all up to Free to get this damage done. Not putting move them away from the Scourge, and he does.
A little bit. Kills off a Corsair or two, but it looks like he's kind of shattering everything Light has at the moment. The Zealot's coming up, trying to help out for Ware.
Now, there are quite a few Hydralisks out there coming up with reinforcements from Ware. His Corsairs will not be able to deal with them, and so for at least the time being, I guess that's a good defense.
Yeah, like, this is pretty clutch from Ware to have these Hydras to clean everything up. With that additional hatchery for Light, he's still in the game.
Oh no, almost all of the mutas getting taken down. Only one survives.
Here's kind of a funny thing, right? This is one base Hydras. And it's Zealots with legs and +1, so I'm kind of feeling like Free can still win this. But I don't think he has a Templar Archives yet, which is kind of interesting.
Hunting more and more Overlords continue to go down, but he turns around to split against the Scourge, and he takes every one of them out.
This is a crazy 2v2, man. Oh, he has the Templar Archives. This is big. Okay, like, his Corsairs really rule the skies. There are not enough locations with Hydralis in them, so he can just send a DT in and kill things.
Yeah, he keeps running over all of the bases with these Corsairs, just waiting for anything to pop out. I mean, here are some fresh Overlords. Those are all very, very vulnerable, and if DTs come out and you don't have detection... That's where you answer my obvious question.
Well, I mean, that's, I don't know what happens there. I think the DTs do a pretty good job, though.
I think they're good units.
Yeah, the Corsairs just wrecking the skies still.
Oh my God, this is so cool to see, because in almost every other game that is played 2v2 or team games like that, 2 versus 1 is just unfair. There's no way to win it. But this is an indication of exactly how great 2v2 is to watch in Brood War, just because of possibilities like this.
Absolutely. It's like super cool when you get a game where everyone's playing very, very well. And like this, it took a prolonged time for the double Zerg quote-unquote problem to occur, but our Protoss Zerg team played so well that Free has this chance here. You know, the Zergs, like, really, their tech is not holding up at the moment.
All right, Overlord gets taken out, and immediately those DTs start to go to work. There are Sunkens up in both mineral lines, so that will protect those drones at least for, or spore colonies up in both mineral lines. So DTs will have a little bit more of a difficult time there.
Yeah, now, both the Zergs have taken additional bases. I'm not sure, like, what Free really knows about where there are hatcheries on the map right now. If he knew that, I feel like he'd be trying to sneak a DT to both those bases, because you just won't be able to defend them. You can't. These Overlords are not going to stay alive against the Corsairs.
Pointing out some of these unspent larvae, just indicating that these Overlord numbers are starting to thin out, but gotta be careful with those Corsairs. High Templar is also out.
Psystorm going to be just critical against the Hydras. Free building up his economy. Looks like there's going to be an attack down into his natural.
Oh no! Flying his Corsairs over the Hydras, losing so many.
Yeah, that's rough. Okay, well, he's actually attacking in right now. This is really cool how the natural of Free, by the way, is actually containing the main base here of Light. And he's kind of sunken pushing out, too. This is such a cool game, man. Oh, my God. It's making me want to play 2 vs. 2.
Wow, I don't even know what to say here. It's all up to Free here, and he does have the tech to do it, but he's going to need to avoid running his Corsairs over Hydralisks and find some way to deal with this Mass Hydra on the ground.
Yeah, it's going to come down to a lot of good Psy Storms, I think. Luckily, he still does have a few Corsairs here. And the more he pushes Overlords back, the more his Dark Templars can retain some sort of map control.
Is he doing enough with them, though? He is sending them all the way across the map there. Corsairs also split instead of together just to try to catch any out-of-position Overlords.
Yeah, he's also trying to see where our base is. Have you guys expanded all over the place? He doesn't have the greatest vision in the world. This is a 1 vs. 2. Larva's been out of the game for quite some time.
Larva's chilling. You can see him there on the
yeah, he's just watching. He's like, come on, come on. Hey, if they don't win this right now, Team Best wins, and that's it.
Now here comes a Dark Templar into the base. Going to be assassinating drones. We'll keep an eye on the kill count there. But in the meantime, yeah, there's just nothing to stop this Dark Templar.
Yeah, this is so rough, killing off that entire economy. It took him a while to figure out that there was a base here, but as I mentioned before, like, in this type of game with these slow Overlords and the weird tech paths that we've seen, they finally do have some speed, but that wrecked that base. Like, he no longer is mining there. He can possibly go save it if he wants, but then his opponent's going to be attacked.
Well, here's another attempt by Free to break on into Light's upper base there. Corsairs taking out that Overlord, and Zealot's getting on top of those creep colonies. So, nice storm there onto the Hydras, but saving most of them. There's still a lot left over.
This is some great moves by Free, and this is part of like the positional imbalances of Hunters as well, by the way. The fact that he could put down cannons that prevent helping the partner, that protect his expansion. Those are like some value cannons right there, man.
Zergling's up behind, trying to force out these storms, trying to micro those High Templars away, getting them surrounded. Another couple of nice storms, but Hydra's being pulled back there. Storm on those drones as they're trying to get through, but it looks like there might just not be enough Psy Storm for Free.
Light showing a lot of good micro tonight, splitting his mutas earlier and now kind of sniping some of these High Templars. You really need those to be able to take out Ware's mutas. The Zealots do not want to fight alone.
It's dangerous to go alone. Here,
yeah.
take
these storms.
Yeah, Zealot storms. Lots out there, but these storms have actually been remarkably ineffective thanks to nice splitting, like you said, Artosis. So, I mean, at this point, I don't know. It seems like Hydralisks are good units.
Well, not against this many speed loss.
Keep them perfectly still.
Nice. That base is going to be going down, so Light's economy is just, it's almost nothing, man.
So Light is almost eliminated from this game, and that means that we're going to see a 2-base Zerg versus a 2-base Protoss, and I mean, that's a great place to be as Protoss at any point. Now, I mean, he's mined out, so that's not quite as drastic.
You know what's really funny is like how many minerals are left in Light's base, because he's taken so much damage this game. He's just had so few drones the entire time that like he could be in this game for another 30 minutes mining from that main base.
I mean, minerals, that's sort of the silver lining to the cloud of having taken so much harass early on. And I mean, it looks like Free actually might be able to do that. Nice storm right on top of those Hydras.
Sick money storm, but now there are lurkers out.
Lurkers in my 2v2s, Artosis.
Yeah. And here's the thing, like you can run around lurkers quite a bit, and you can try to storm them. It's going to take a couple storms to kill a lurker, which is... You know,
that takes one storm and one Zealot hit.
Yeah, exactly, or a Dragoon hit, whatever. But he doesn't have detection right now, right? He skipped that. It's 2 vs. 2, so it's not like you're going to tech up normally.
Let me just build an observer. All those things that don't do damage, you know.
Oh man, Ware is very impressive tonight. He's even taken an additional base at this point. Look at the amount of sunkens that there are, and even a lurker to really say just buzz off, leave Light alone.
Oh my god, this is actually the sickest 2v2 I have ever seen, and that is...
This is one of the best ones I've seen.
One out of 2 2v2s for me. Turnaround storm right before that High Templar dies at least takes the lurker with it.
Well,
these Corsairs. Now the count is pretty low, but here comes a shuttle with, I'm guessing, storm drops?
It could be storm drops. There could be Dark Templars as well.
Oh boy.
DTs can like wreck fringe bases hard.
No detection at that fringe base.
Let's see what's in it. I mean, it even could be Zealots, obviously. Okay.
It is High Templar waiting for the drones to run away. Ooh. They run right into the storm.
Some solid damage right there. Looks like a Zealot in here as well to make sure he can kill off any drones that did make it out. And there was a DT in there, so he just had a little bit of everything. Oh my god, the Overlord ran away.
Sickest off-the-clock overlord. He's like, my time here is done, guys. But nice harassment here. This is more of like a 1v1 that we're seeing on the map Hunters, Artos.
It's funny because it's like a 1 versus 1, but if Ware can kind of stay alive and kind of stay in it, eventually Light is going to do something again in this game.
Another huge storm drop.
My God.
Oh my God.
That's
it's
crazy.
Drone genocide. All of them getting taken out there. And yeah, just like several bases just not mining here for Ware.
Yeah, but you know what? This is all of the efforts of Free is upon Ware and his 3-base economy, which is smart. What is Light doing? I'm really wondering, right? Because he's got like a good enough defense up there that he's alive.
Whoa, massive amounts of Dragoons coming out here. I did not expect to see that much of a switch.
Yeah. Well, with the Psystorm, with the Zealots, and now the fact that he has Observers, he should be able to bust through Sunkens. He should be able to bust through any Lurkers out there as well with relative ease, as long as he keeps his Observer alive.
All right, still able to fend off these Scourge that come through, or Scourge, if you want to pronounce them that way. What's your official?
Scourge.
Okay, there we go. All right.
Which means that's probably wrong, but whatever. Okay, picks that off, so that's really nice, but the massive Psystorm, the ridiculous Psystorm, and more to clean up the Lurkers that were already damaged.
Wow. All right, so how many bases is that up for Ware right now? He's got 3, but very low drone saturation.
Yeah. His main is almost mined out as well because he did go double hatch so early, so he's had that great economy, and he hasn't been losing drones in the main, so... you know, Free looks like he's really poised to win this game. We haven't seen Light Space for 100,000 years, so I don't know what he's doing, but hopefully it's something soon, because otherwise Ware's just going to die.
I'm guessing there's just not a whole lot up there. You saw how many Sunkens there were and how, I guess, unwilling Free was to push all the way through there. So there really just can't be all that much out there. I mean, if he explodes with like 8 control groups of Mutas, I'm like, oh, okay, we probably should have seen that at some point. But very unlikely. Now trying to push through these Lurkers, it looks like there's not a whole lot stopping Free.
Not a lot indeed, and this is actually, again, a good reason to have Free in this match to play against the Zergs, right? Like, he is a master of these pushes. This is his matchup.
God. Looking forward to seeing Free immediately after this, if he is able to take this one down, because he's going to be putting on another show exactly like this. It's just so cool. Then he'll get a chance to go up against Best, too. Kind of ironic that on a team named Team Best, we haven't seen him play yet.
Yeah, well, he'll be coming up with the next one, it's looking like, man, because I can't see these Zergs stopping Free. He's got such a solid army right now. But look, look what Light's doing. He keeps pushing the creep forward with creep colonies, and he could sunken push here.
That's how you win the game.
Dude, like, get a contain up, and suddenly we have Free just sitting here, and he can't, like, reinforce or keep his bases alive? I don't know. Maybe our Zerg team does win.
Also, I believe I just saw an Observer snipe there, so Free had his Observer taken out, which means he's not going to be able to push through what is actually a pretty big field of Lurkers.
Yeah, Light has continually made more Scourge. Don't forget he has that Spire, so doing something here, making Sunkens and Scourge. That's kind of cool.
And useful talent Toy have there. Scourge all over the map, and actually now starting to connect.
Oh my God, I love this sunken push. This is guys, this is madness. Tell your friends in a 2 versus 2, which is now a 2 versus 1, the Protoss who's winning 1 versus 2 is being sunken pushed by a guy that almost died like 10 times.
This is madness. You can't kick down a well, guys. It's just too crazy. Never thought that we'd get to this point in the game. I mean, we're 25 minutes into a 2 versus 2.
Dude, it's so crazy. I love this. This is amazing. What a great, glorious day
that
we have.
What a time to be alive.
Oh, awesome. Well.
I mean, apologies.
Oh my God, the return of Mutas.
I told you he's going to come out with Mutas. This isn't 8 control groups.
No, that's not 8 control groups. You're right about that.
Still enough to force these probes off the line. Dragoons should be able to push away. This small number of Mutas and cannons will eventually be up there as well. But continuing to just take out every single probe really counts.
This is so cool, man. This is like... Okay, I've decided this is the best 2 versus 2 I've ever seen. Like, I really enjoy this one.
So this is sort of like Light's revenge, because he was so close to just dying, but now it's him that's coming back and really being so annoying to deal with.
Yeah, the sunken push is super annoying. The thing is, Free is still holding tight. He has kept that base alive. The Mutas, they're doing like a little tiny bit, but overall, this tech path is not paying off in the ways that Light wanted at all in this game.
Protoss up on 3 bases, only 2 of them mining. And even with just that one base economy, Light is proving to be a formidable ally. Okay, nice Storms. Taking out a lot of Lings there. Lurkers starting to dissipate. More Storms on everything that tries to push up here. Where is going to be pushed back, trying to catch the Observer, and he gets it.
Oh, yeah, very nice kill right there. As long as they can slow him down, value can get gained by Zergs that just have more bases. But actually, to be fair, he does have that top right pretty well saturated. Look at that.
Yeah, and enough cannons to defend from just these, I think, 2-3 mutas that are out. Yeah,
I
looks
wonder,
like those
is he still
mutas.
making mutas? Like, I think he just stays on Mutatech. There's no reason for him to try to get into Hydras at this point.
All right, another push forward, trying to get on top of these Dragoons that are helping kill these Lurkers one by one, along with Storms out there. More Zealots coming up to buffer. It looks like this push from Free could get in onto Ware's base.
Yeah, coming in right now. Everything being brought to bear by our Zerg team, trying to keep alive against Free's push.
Picking
and he's
off
going to
those
have to
High
back
Templars.
up. Oh, man. Yeah, the good snipes on these High Templars. A very good usage of those mutas, and the Lurkers eventually push things back.
Oh, now this Fringe base will at least be harassed. Looks like that Zealot will get cleaned up, so the base survives for now.
Dude, this is so crazy.
Oh my god, Artosis.
This is so awesome.
If it weren't enough for Brood War to be coming back, it's Brood War 2v2s coming back. These are different than every single StarCraft 2 2v2 you'll ever see because there's no resource gifting. There's also like much different like mechanics at Bear here in general with like the comeback mechanic of how difficult it is to control large amounts of supply.
Yeah, no, it's kind of a wild thing because don't forget, this is 1 versus 2. Even though Light has like just kind of random mutas and stuff, that's a whole nother set of APM that is harassing Free right now. Playing a 1 versus 2 is almost impossible. Light has Free, like, geez, I'm mixing things up, but like he's done a fantastic job, but the Zergs are like rallying, man.
Oh my god. All right, Storms do not kill Sunkens, but they will deal with that Lurker in the middle of them. Zealots on top of them. They're starting to pop, but with that middle cannon being taken out in the mineral line, every probe will die here with correct muta control.
Yeah, he is doing a great job. Okay, finally some units coming up to try to push back these mutas, and they will be able to do so. Psystorm plus Dragoons, plenty of damage there. But, like, Free is kind of hemorrhaging, right? Like, he spent a lot to kill some Sunks there. He just lost a bunch of probes and some cannons in the top right. He's not able to actually pressure anything. Ware is taking another base.
Oh my god, Artosis. All right, so need to keep an eye on these mutalists. Light did continue to produce those mutas. Maybe he's just
look at the teamwork. The Speed Overlord upgrade is only here for Ware, so he has to bring it up so the mutas can actually pick things off. Like, that's teamwork, man. He's like, bring up and over. Come on, let's get this Observer.
All right, so before these do finish morphing into Sunkens, a couple of Dragoons trying to just kill them off with that range, but be careful as those mutas do come and try to push them back. So much back and forth. Like you said, that coordination for both sides. That's a lot of Lurkers, but Big Storms will catch them. They do burrow in time, but a lot of them going down.
Look at this. All this Observer picking off has been so good. Oh my god, they're going to try again.
He's running away from the Overlord. It's going to go down. No, he stays alive.
He snipes the Overlord, and the Observer lives with like no health left over. So crazy.
This is insanity. And those, okay, there it is, finally getting taken out.
He is the Observer killer. This is the craziest stuff ever. Look, he comes back in, gets another one. The Storms are really working overtime right now, trying to kill off all the Lurkers.
Now, there's only, I think, 2 mutalisks left there, so we will need to produce a few more.
Yeah, there they are.
Okay.
And another one. Oh my god, change your rally point. Do something else. He needs to like hide a Robo in the bottom left and bring the Observers in from another corner or something, man. This is just too much.
Well, this is where having those Pac-Man maps would come in. You could just fly the Observer off the opposite side.
Dude, Defiler Mound is on the way. Dark Swarm and Plague, both amazing in this type of scenario.
Lots of high Templars coming out, trying to pick those off. Nice Storm. They actually will catch several Mutalisks and take out both of those OVs.
Yeah, money Storm's going down. And look at this. The sunken push started again, so he's like, okay, I got to push this back.
So annoying to deal with. I think this time Free might just commit to trying to kill Light off. However, he is going to face a ton of Zerg coming up, trying to catch him from behind.
Dude, it's so many Sunkens. Light down with his Mutas, losing almost every single one. The Sunkens will hold on against the group of Zealots that went up there, and it feels like if he's going to just kill some Sunkens and lose Zealots for it, like, first off, you have to get rid of the ones that are hitting, like, your rallies, but, like, after that, you sent more in and lost them. That was definitely a mistake by Free. Either commit and kill the Zerg, or don't waste units just killing random Sunkens that he's been making.
Yeah, I mean, you do have to continue to push them back, but look at these Sunkens. There's like 8, 10 of them right there.
So crazy.
Just protecting his base. Now, Free has managed to get a 4th base up and running. So, I mean, this is actually starting to look like some weird, twisted kind of
Well, this is turning into such a crazy macro game. Where's Hive Tech is going to come in big time. Light, in the meantime, like, this is so funny that he's still just sitting here making Mutas and Suns.
How annoying can this guy be?
So annoying. So unbelievably annoying.
This guy is like 5 annoying on a scale of, I guess,
1 to 4 annoying. He's 5 annoying.
Oh my God, 3 annoying, 5 mean. Okay, now coming up again, yet again, to try to push through these lurkers. Looks like this attempt will be a little bit better, but here comes that Hive Tech kicking in.
Yeah, this is kind of a big deal that we have Defilers out right now. The Dragoons are so slaughtered by Defilers. Archon, Zealot, Storm still kind of function against them. I mean, you can hit them with Plague and stuff, which is nice, but God, these Mutas are annoying. This is where we get to see what Free wants to do. And again, if this was like Stork, he'd probably already be dead. Free is an expert in this matchup. In particular, he's one of the best PvZs of all time. He specializes here, so that's why we're seeing such a heroic play against 2 Zergs.
And just to test how good he is at PvZ, we're like, we heard you were good against 1 Zerg. How about trying it out against 2? And I wonder if the story of this game is his reluctance to commit to killing Light, because those Mutas are so annoying, and now he's getting Dark Swarm push.
Yeah, the Dark Swarm push. This is going to be really hard to actually pick off. Now, he's killed off a lot of Mutas, so he might be able to keep this Observer alive, which is really important. He doesn't have enough Zealots to actually clear everything, though. But all he needs to do is, like, push it back enough that he keeps the Nexus for the time being.
All right, now there are quite a few Storms out there, so all you have to do is just look at the Swarm, throw it on the Storm. That's going to push most of the everything underneath it. But, I mean, that's going to be GG. Free just can't hang on long enough, and in the end.
Dude, this was so fun. What a great 2 versus 2 right there.
Wow.
Oh, my God. And that means that Team Best, like, doesn't even get to play.
Best is a professional cheerleader, man.
Yeah. Well, he chose the 2 versus 2 team well. That was really such a treat, guys, as far as 2 versus 2 goes. I love that one. Free was so heroic. And here's the thing, too. I thought that Larva played pretty well. But eventually, when you have that setup of races, eventually the Zerg player, the single Zerg, just can't hold on anymore against the Zerglings. Like, that will occur. And the fact that, like, I don't know, maybe he should have committed and just killed Light, because the amount of observers that were killed off, the harassment on the probes, the Mutas, just all that stuff, that was so much for Free to have to deal with while trying to push down Where.
Yikes, what a matchup. And the amount of things that have to go absolutely perfectly for both, for the 2 players to be hindered enough and the 1 player who's left out of the 2 to be so strong that it somehow balances out there. I mean, balancing already one of the most remarkable parts about Brood War, just because it hasn't been patched in a bazillion years. And then to have that balance be so balanced that you can. I heard
it occurs, man. We don't get games like that too often, and again, like, double Zerg generally ends up winning because you're playing against double the APM that you have, right? Like, you are being taxed like crazy. But yeah, that was what a treat indeed.
Wow, so Team Stork coming up on stage to give a big bow, and of course lots of love for those guys, not only because of the players, but also they brought burgers earlier.
Well, the cheeseburger karma didn't do anything for Stork tonight,
you have
unfortunately.
to bring more burgers. Actually, that's just because they didn't give me a burger or toast.
Yeah, we cursed them right there. Team Best moving on to that round of 4. Unfortunately, Team Stork is just out. This is like not This is just like a 8-team tournament, and it's going pretty fast, guys. So unfortunately, we won't see them again. But great win here by Team Best.
Wow, yeah, and totally well-deserved, even though Best never actually got a chance to play it, and I didn't get to see my favorite map, Outsider. Still insanity games today, so if you haven't been watching, maybe you just tuned in for the last little bit of that 2v2, and you're just like, well, I'm trying to pay attention to what's going on, but you definitely needed to go back and watch that. So if you didn't catch it all, go back and check it out, and stick around, because I think we have an interview with our winning team coming up.
Yes, we will be having that, and definitely they should be quite proud of their players. Where taking down Stork is definitely an upset, and he did a very good job with that Zergling all-in. Like, he waited long enough that the probes moved. He caught Stork with his pants down there, and then Light and Ware both played very well in that 2v2. Like, Light playing his off race, and then Ware kind of being the hero after that double hatchery opening, right? Like, he powered up a little bit more. Light stayed alive, and there you have it. They take that down.
Beautiful, beautiful games, and this is going to be the end of our first week of team battles. So let's go ahead and go into our interview with our players from Team Best.
이 선수들의 정신적 지주 같은 모습을 조재욱 선수가 보여줬거든요. 오늘
So
반전
you
소감
came
들어볼게요.
here to support, cheer for your team, Best.
게임이 다 재밌어가지고 진짜 시청자 입장에서 재밌게 봤고.
What are your match points for today's games? Best saying, yeah, I was more just like a spectator. The games today were really amazing. So really exciting to watch. So who do you think is the best player for your team, Best?
안 좋게 말하면 찌질하게 잘한 것 같아가지고.
He says, I really think Light is the best player. He was really persistent in chasing and killing observers. It's very interesting to watch.
거기다 이제 못을 박으면서 못 나오게 만들었거든요. 그때 할 수 있는 거 옵저버 잡는 거였지. 어떠셨어요?
사실 11시에 프로토스가 있는 거 보고 이건 좀 사실상 힘들다.
Yeah, Free just blocked in and blocked him in, and so all he could really do at that point was try to focus on killing observers. So Light saying, yeah, I just tried to do my best and do anything I could do. And it went better than I expected.
한두열 선수가 진짜 고생을 많이 했는데.
But what about Ware? You didn't believe in him?
한두열 선수에게 한마디 한다면.
두열이는 이 경기 보니까 경기력.
Any words you want to say to Ware?
긴장도 많이 안 한 것 같고 잘하는 것 같아서 믿고 했고요, 당연히. 네, 이제 도재욱
Well,
같은
it
경우는
seems like
저희가 이제 좀 안 좋다 생각을 해서 처음에
doesn't feel nervous at all.
도재욱 믿고 그냥 편하게 해야겠다는
And
생각을
he
했거든요.
seems in very good condition too. So I think he played well.
도를 믿습니까?
믿습니다. 찬양합니다.
믿음이에요.
So any words from Ware?
되는 겁니까?
네, 믿기만 하면 뭐 이제 믿음으로 보답.
So do you believe Best? Ware? And he's like, yeah, I believe Best.
그렇죠. 오늘 이 도재욱이 있었기 때문에
All we need to do is believe in Best.
보면서 그 캐논을 깬 거 아니에요. 도재욱이 없었으면은 졌을 거 아니에요.
아니 재욱이 형이 그 핫팩도 준비해 주시고 음료수도 준비해 주시고 그러니까 뭐 이제 경기 외적으로
So without Best, do you think your team would lose?
이게 팀장이지 막 이런 생각도 들고 엄청 좋았던 것 같아요.
He said,
자 그러면요 이제 도재욱 선수 마이크 한번 잡아주시고 오늘
So you know, we really need Best on our team because he helped us prepare and he helped cheer for us. So that's what they needed to do.
저 어떻게 구성하게 된 거예요?
자다 일어났는데 다 없더라고요 멤버가.
So how did you compose your team, Best, with these two members? So I didn't really have that much choice because all the other teams had really picked their members.
Oh my God.
So he just picked the rest of the members that were left over.
Oh, these poor guys.
계속하는 거예요. 그래가지고 저는 이 친구들 내가 다음에 또 기회 있으면 또 뽑아야겠다 이 생각하고 오늘도 좀 맛있는 거
He says,
쏘려고요.
yeah, I really just watched these two players, so I saw them keep practicing, and he thought, well, you know, if I do pick these two, then it'll work well.
포켓몬스터 종류도 있지 않습니까? 그렇죠. 있습니까? 뭐 구구나 뭐 이런 그.
So you're saying you didn't really expect that much, but it comes out really well.
이런 그 포켓몬인데 키워 보니까 뭐 거의 S 등급, 더블 S 등급, CP가 굉장히 높다거나, 뭐 이런 식의 어떤 그 대박이 아닐까라는 생각이 드는데, 좋은 경기력 감사드립니다.
그러면 오늘 여기서 이제 끝으로
So yeah, just saying thank you very much for your amazing games today. It's very enjoyable. So as a captain, Any last words to your fans, Best? And he says, yeah, I wasn't really expecting these results, but because I believe in my members, things really worked out. So I think we're gonna, keep these members and keep moving forward, and hope to show good games. I made that last part up, but it was probably in there anyway.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, that was a fun day, a 3-0, so definitely very different from last night, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. I think the 2 versus 2 was more fun than last night all put together.
Yeah, really an insane highlight there. I mean, I was kind of blew my mind there, had my own little Keanu Reeves moment there at the end, but it was definitely worth checking out, even though it was a 3-0, a very exciting one.
Yeah, the first game was really fantastic as well. That was a really good TVZ between Light and Larva, so if you tuned in a little bit late because you heard there was a sick 2 versus 2, you probably want to go back and check out that VOD.
Absolutely, and we do have all of the VODs up on Afrika's YouTube channel immediately following this broadcast. So let's go ahead and let you guys know what's coming up next week in the Afrika TV Team Battle.
Next Saturday, it is going to be Team Iamong against Team C. And then, of course, Sunday, Team Mind against Team Bisu. These are going to be really fun matches as well. Make sure you tune into those.
Yeah.
Don't forget, of course, GSL will be on Saturday before that, and, of course, GSL on Wednesday this week. So plenty of StarCraft action here at Afrika TV.
A lot of that out there. Mind, of course, coming in here to replace Jadong after he dropped out due to wrist injury. So we'll see if he can come in here and make it happen. Of course, we also have the very popular BJs Terror and Brittany playing as well. So if you're a big fan of watching them and their popular streams on Afrika TV, then that'll be pretty exciting.
They have a lot of personality, and they're like, Terror's pretty good still. Like, he still plays pretty good games. So, I mean, that'll be a fun one.
Yeah, it definitely will be fun to watch. So I hope you guys have all enjoyed our first week of Team Battle. We'll be coming back next week for more Afrika Team Battle action. Thanks for watching. We love you. Have a good night.
Now when the time has come, I'm begging you to stay strong and save the world. I really don't mind games. Save the world. Visions will still remain. Don't need to hear you cry. Then a piece of my heart will die. No matter how I try, I can see through it all. The mirror tells nothing but the truth. Now when the time has come, I'm begging you to stay strong and save